now.
Okay, cool.
And the one I just did, it's downloading now. I'll have that one posted probably be at the same time, because once we get off, I'm gonna download them both and edit them and put them up at the same time. So they'll both be up by tonight.
Okay.
They'll
Yeah, I
both
just
be
want
at.
something I can refer back to.
Yeah, I'll definitely have them up there by tonight. So no worries there. I'm what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna set or I'm gonna upload the Candlestick Bible to the community. I meant to do it earlier, but on the last session I got carried away. We were on there for about 2 hours. Let me go. I had my wife in here talking about I thought you were hungry. I'm like, I was, but you got to run it on mouth. So let's
I feel.
go. Right. Let me hit this Mighty Networks. I'm gonna post. It's gonna be now when we get off. This is something you can refer to start identifying and being able to recognize the patterns. And again, like I tell everybody, the markups and the analysis that I do is universal. It's universal across crypto, stocks, equities, indices. It doesn't matter what you're trading. And when I say that, I mean it really doesn't matter what you're trading as long as you can follow the simple steps in the pattern recognition that I'm going to go over. And again, in the boot camp, I'm going to be going over this stuff every single day. It's repetitive. I'm going to be going over it repetitively every single day because, like I say, it's universal. When it comes to the market and how to read it, I am simply only looking at the pattern. The only time I go to looking at analyzing the spreads is when it comes to when and where I'm actually going to enter and the risk amount I'm going to use. Other than that, everything's the same. Of course, on cryptos, when it comes to trading on the board, when it comes to cryptos, you're trading a little less lot size than you would a traditional traditional currency.
Right.
So that's really the only factor that comes in when I'm actually entering the market. And when I enter the market, I'm down in my trigger zone. I consider trigger zones any time frame below the hour. Any time frame below the hour is what I consider a trigger zone. And from that, how familiar are you with navigating MT4?
Not too much, because like I got MT4. I was like, man, this has got me confused.
Oh, right here.
And then I got into binary. And I was like, okay, this is more of a little bit more of my speed control. Because like when I got into MT4, it's like I don't know when I need to stop.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so just real quick, going over what we see here on MT4 is down below. I have the RSI. You familiar with the RSI?
Right.
Okay, I got the RSI down there. This one's particularly color coded. This particular template was customized by me. It's of course, as you see in the top left, the currency matrix, in the bottom right by the Urban Genius or whatnot. So the RSI is actually color coded. And of course, above 50, you're in an uptrend. When you're above 50, yeah. just in general speaking, when you're above the 50, you're looking for the RSI to be doing this, and of course, an uptrend. And of course, every touch to the 50 would be a touch of what we would like to consider support.
So is that? I'm sorry. It's the 50. It's 50 across. It's like that on your RSI. 50 across the board, even when you're dealing with everything, right?
Right.
Okay.
And the 50 is, you can think of it as a baseline. The 50 is is what you would consider the baseline. I'm sorry, I was typing an email. Let me get out of there. I was typing this post up.
Nah, you good, man.
So I've been yapping all day, bro.
Hey, you can do that when you make the money you make, man.
Right. Man, and then the thing about it is, I can literally sit here and talk about this shit forever. So whenever I actually get on with somebody who's actually interested in listening to what the hell I got to ramble my mouth about, it's like I don't shut up. It's almost
I'm the same way.
hilarious.
I'm the same way with crypto, man. Like when people want to know like the analysts and how can I go about doing this and doing that and how can I get the best results, and I'm like, man, this, that, and third.
Thanks. So yeah, whenever the RSI, the 50 on the RSI is going to be just that, the baseline. So when the price or in this particular situation on my template, when the RSI is green, you're anticipating an uptrend. And with the 50 being the place where it bounces, like right in here. So, but then this particular situation, as you see, it's a downtrend. Right. So whenever prices, say the RSI price is white, using this particular template, you would be expecting price to be doing this move. And as you see, price was in a downtrend, and at every retrace up here to the 50, it was time to sell again. And that's just because this is a color coded. But overall, it'll just be when prices are trending above or below the 50. I'm gonna go ahead and do a top-down analysis real quick. And that way we can go over everything from point A to point Z. And going back to exactly what this is on MetaTrader, because I know you said you're not too familiar, but I'll go over it real quick.
Yeah, because I got to still download MetaTrader 4 onto this Mac in here I got.
Okay, you said on the MacBook?
Yeah, I got a desktop Mac.
Okay, are you familiar? You know how to maneuver around it, because I'm not familiar with how to maneuver around Apple computers. But as long as you are, do you know how to download it already? Do you know how to get the download link and stuff?
No, I haven't got. I don't know what the download link is. Can you send me that video again? I think we was in Florida when we was talking about it. You said you was gonna send the video link on how to do it.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say I can send you the download link, but as far as downloading and installing programs on the Mac, that one throws me for a loop. Because I know you got to have a external something to download Windows programs, right, or something like that.
Right. You just got to say that you trust the application. Once you trust the third party application, it'll go through.
Okay, yeah. So I can send. So yeah, I know how to send you the link. I'll send you the link before we get off of the session here. And so just in a nutshell, just going over what we're looking at here. This is, of course, the largest time frame. This is the monthly. On yours, and when you download it, it's going to have the time frames already up here. Across the top. But if you right click anywhere on the chart, you can literally just hit time frames and start right in here. We got the monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, typical time frames as you see on any chart. But starting with the monthly, if you have this period separators on, which you enter by Control Y, like this, when you're on the monthly, each block or each section is a whole year. When you're on the monthly time frame, each section here is a whole year. Oh, wow. So this is 12. This is actually what? 1, 2, 3. 121. We're in the 10th month. Yeah, so this is 10 candles. And every other one, of course, is the full year at 12. If we look at the 4 hour or the weekly, same thing. Each block is a year. If we look at the daily, each block is a month. Each block in here is a month once you get down to the daily time frame. So you'll typically see about 30 candles in each block. Then on the 4 hour, each block is a week. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because it helps easily identify the high and low of those larger time frames. For example, here on the monthly, if we know each block is a whole year, we know the high of 2020 was here and the low of 2020 was here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if we go to the daily, we know where the high of the month is. We know if each one of these is a month, we know the high of September or the low of September was here, the high of September was there. If we get down to the 4 hour, what helps here is we know if each one of the 4 hours period is a whole week, we know the high of last week was here, the low of last week was here.
Yeah.
Same thing going down to the 1 hour. When you're at the 1 hour, every block is a high of is a day, 24 hours. And everything below, everything an hour and below sections is off 24, a full 24 hours. Now it's no coincidence that after hitting the high of the week at this high here and this low there, it's no coincidence how when you get down to the hour, it's perfectly at the high or low of the day. This would have been the low of, what day was the 28th? This would have been the low of, this would have been the low of Tuesday. This would have been the high of Wednesday. So we got the low of Tuesday here and the low of high or the high of Wednesday here. Now you can just look at the chart and see how profitable being able to know those two positions in advance would have been.
Yeah.
Because of course you know what a chart looks like, so you know exactly how profitable those two positions would have been last week. You can literally
I see why
from the bottom to the top.
I see why LJ was making that money last week, man.
You literally wrote it like that and wrote it back down like that, and could have even got this in between if you wanted to. So it would have really turned out to be an even more profitable move. You would have grabbed the pips back down, the pips back up in the retrace, and the pips back down here. So you already know how identifying those, how clutch those would have been. And then, so that's what the significance of me having my period separators on. A lot of people say, a lot of people I see out there don't trade with them on, but with them on gives you a little more perspective that you don't really have to give any extra thought about. You know what I'm saying? It's all about keeping it simple. So if you don't have to think about where the high of the day is, if you just look at the chart with the period separators on, the high of the day sits there and stares at you.
And that would, because that right there will give you the support and resistance, and then you can just monitor your way on through.
Exactly, and that's just a simple technique that you can apply with the period separator. It's very ideal and it's very easy to spot support and resistance with them on. So going to when you were talking about knowing when to enter or when to exit, or when to enter a trade per se. In my opinion, or in my result, as you see, trading this pair of euro pound last week, I actually did trade this pair, and I was in right here, and I took profit right here. And of course, it was the low of the week to the high of the week. But if you look at the chart, that happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like it was a whole 4 or 5 day move. I was able to capture that in 5 hours and then let this ride for 2. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I took profit here, I waited for New York here on Wednesday, entered the trade, didn't look at my computer again until Friday morning and took profit right here.
Mm.
And that's just because if you look at the RSI down here, it kind of, the way I have this these settings, it kind of paints that picture for you. And that's just
Okay,
current.
so as long as I know the high, I pretty much can be prepared for the sale, for the buy, for the sell off.
Now, when it comes to identifying this, that's where the top-down analysis comes in. So that, although down here in the hour, that's where when it comes down to actually taking your position, the reason I entered right here was due to the retest of the previous day's low. So if I take just that off and I was just, say for example, just looking at real-time data, if I was just looking at real-time data in this perspective, I would have been planning my entry in advance already, since I know this is a new day. I know this line here means a new day because of the period separator. I would have been planning an entry at the retest of yesterday's low. So as the pattern played out, so I would have been anticipating, like I said, I would have been anticipating, wrong color. If I would have been anticipating a trade at yesterday's low, and I've been anticipating, I was already anticipating a trade at yesterday's low. As soon as yesterday's low was retested here on that particular doji candle, because we know a doji, that we know that's a reversal candle or a rejection candle. So if you look at the doji candle that retested yesterday's low but failed to hold down there, then you go to looking at the RSI, it's green now. That's why I entered that trade.
Okay,
as well as the fact that this was about 3 a.m. the beginning of London session. That's where the session time would come in play. You know, the London session starts at 3 Eastern. The New York session starts about 9 Eastern. Roughly, it's good and in motion by 9:30 Eastern, hands down. And so knowing that, you know, even if you don't have the volume meter on your charts, when you know what session is getting ready to start and what country currency dominates that particular session time, you know what currencies are going to have volume. So, for example, like I said, this entry here came around London session, around 3 a.m. Eastern. We know 3 a.m. Eastern is 8 a.m. in London. So you can think about the market sessions being active for each particular country that does business with that currency, business hours. So that's why you see the main London session 8 hours and the New York session 8 hours as well. New York session runs 9 to 5. Why? Because that's when the business hours are, Eastern. Then you go looking at the London market, 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Why? Because 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in London. So when you think about the session times, you know what market is having transactions based on what time it is and what sessions in play. That makes sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense now.
Okay, smooth. Had you ever looked at it from that perspective?
I never have actually. I'm not, like I said, man. I'm so busy on like coin market cap and dealing with coin gecko and live coin, just researching the coins and then trying to study graphs. It's like, man, my brain is fried some days.
No doubt, it's all good. It's all good because we definitely gonna have to. We definitely got to get your crypto expertise involved with the currency matrix for sure. So that's no. There's no worries there. Excuse me. No worries there at all. Um. So, but yeah, that helps you keep in perspective whether or not the currency you're looking at is even going to be profitable to trade. Because if you're in a London session and you know all the transactions are typically going to be on London-based currency, because that's the time zone that's doing business. You know, during the London session, you likely want to be looking at London-based currencies to place a trade on. You don't want to be focused on a US like USD CAD. A lot of people say USD CAD is annoying because it doesn't move until 10 a.m. Eastern. It's the last pair to move. Versus, somebody looking at that particular USD CAD during London session at 3 a.m. They're going to be sitting there for a while because there's no transactions being done in the Canadian dollar at 3 a.m. Eastern. When they could be looking at a London-based pair at 3 a.m. Eastern and be seeing all the volatility in the world because London's the one doing business right now. So knowing what session you're in gives you the upper hand to know what currency you even want to be trading on a daily basis or even on a timely basis. That helps me pinpoint my timing. I know what pairs to look for at what time to look at them.
So London, I'll be looking at like Euro, GBP.
Right, Euro, GBP, because both of those are London combined. The London pound and the Euro dollar. They're in the same hemisphere, so their business operation hours are exactly the same. And most of those transactions are heavier due to the fact that there's a lot of exchange between the two in real time. You know what I'm saying? There's people crossing that border all day long, actively exchanging that currency in real time all day long. So that's one of the strongest pairs to be looking at during the London session. Euro USD, Euro USD, pound USD as well, but you still have to factor in that the other pair is based in USD. So the best trade on pound USD sometimes will hang around and wait until New York session, because not only is it London based, it's actually US based. And the New York session and London session overlap for 2.5 hours.
So that means for 2.5 hours I can go either American or I can go London.
Right. For 2.5 hours from 8. Well, really, the volume starts kicking in about 7:30, but banks don't open until as early as 8 on the East Coast. But the transactions really start transpiring about 7:30. So in essence, you can consider the New York session opening at 8 a.m. with the London session closing at 10 a.m. So for that 2-hour period from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, both markets are open at the same time. That makes sense? They overlap from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you'll have a lot of volatility and a lot of reversals and a lot of aggressive moves. That's why you might have heard the phrase New York reversal.
Right.
That New York reversal happens because both of the markets are open at the same time. So there's like double the transactions, double the volume. Not only are London currencies making their last transactions of the day, you know, getting their last little movement in before they go, you know, before their business day ends. So they're making a lot of transactions, you know, just to end the day, where New York is making a lot of the US is making a lot of transactions just to start the day. And then you'll see around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., the market start to slow down because now all of London's gone and New York or US has beat the rush. So now they're just coasting through lunchtime. And when you think about it and look at the market from that perspective, it gives you a better insight to what to even be looking for on the charts.
Oh, okay. Now that you broke it down in like the sessions, it does make sense. Like, 'cause, like, you know, most business hours in America, the business hours are like from what is it, like 9 to 12? Because you got breakfast and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah.
Exactly. So looking at it from that fundamental perspective kind of puts the market in a better perspective for a lot of people, because a lot of people say they've never thought about it like that. But when you break it down fundamentally, it all makes sense. Like when I started trading, if it didn't make sense, I couldn't make it make sense on the charts, then it wasn't true. And that's how I really taught myself. It was like, if I can't make logical fundamental sense of the patterns that I'm looking at on the charts, the patterns false. And that's how I was able to start identifying true and false patterns. Because if I couldn't make sense of why this happened fundamentally, then my technical analysis was already wrong.
I'm listening to you, bro. I just got a little guy in my arms.
Say that again.
I said I'm listening to you, bro. I got a little guy in my arms.
Oh, okay, you good. You good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a top-down analysis from the highest time frame to the lowest time frame. So what I'm going to do is when you were trading actively, did you have a favorite currency pair?
It would be that Euro USD for me.
Euro USD.
Yep.
All right,
and then my second one would be like the Australian dollar versus US dollar.
Okay, let's do the Euro Aussie dollar. Okay, so whenever you get the MT4 downloaded and you're able to install this template, this is what I'm going to show you is exactly how I read every chart, every pattern, how I do every analysis whenever I open a chart. So like I said, it doesn't matter what's up here until I get to actually opening and executing a position.
Okay.
So first off, I would go to the monthly. I would need to at least see a swing high and a swing low. If I can't identify at least two peaks on both ends, then I need to see more of the chart. But as of right now, this right here is about all we need to see. And what I would look at first is I would look at just peak positions. Like, in fact, you can even go here. Like if I just pulled up the line chart, when I first pull up the monthly chart, or practice this, when you first get to the monthly chart, pull up your line chart. Don't look at anything but the line chart. And what you want to do first is mark the end of the trends. So starting from left to right, we have first this peak here.
Right. No,
then we have a swing to this peak here. Then we have a swing back up to say this peak here. Then we got a lower low. So when it comes to analyzing a trend full out effectively, we would need to first be able to analyze a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. So right here, when I'm speaking of higher highs and higher lows, I'm just for an example, I'm gonna show out this. This trend, this trend, this trend, this trend, and this trend. I'm gonna show you how to actually technically analyze and verify. Starting with this peak here. We got this peak here, starting there. Then we have the low. Then we got a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Immediately here on this candle, now we have a higher low. So when it comes to a trend, if a trend is higher lows, or I'm sorry, excuse me, if a bearish trend is lower highs and lower lows at the sign of a first higher low, the trend is now over. So this trend here is complete. Now we're looking at a series. Now we have a low, higher low, higher or lower high. So this is actually where you would see the divergence, if you're familiar with divergence.
And okay, so that made perfect sense when you just told me that, because like he's like the low right there, and then you said when it came back to a higher high, I mean that's when the bearish market is over.
Right. As soon as you see a higher low, the bearish market is over, because it's immediately following. You see, here's the high of that. Here's the high of the candle that formed the higher low. So this is where you would start the new trend. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, equal high, lower low. So you know this is where the retrace began. But then immediately following, you see the lows don't get lower. They're equal.
Right.
And then what do you got? A higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then up here at this resistance level, you got a higher high, equal low, equal low, equal low. But look at the highs. They're lower than the peak high. They're still lower. They never breached the peak high. And then all of a sudden, you get lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high. Right here, we're in the middle of creating this candle. So now this candle is going to be the candle we have to watch, or this is the candle we want to analyze. We want to be able to determine if this candle is going to form a higher high or get rejected and begin to form a lower low. Now, the reason we would first look to see if it's going to create a higher high is because this candle has already formed a higher low and a higher high. So we know a higher low and a higher high is now an uptrend, which means this downtrend is over. And if we look at support and structure, it's at a very supportive area based on these other candlesticks. So we know right here was consolidation. Here we had a resistance, turn support off that bounce. So we know overall this area right here is supportive. So now we would literally, all we would literally have to do is level off this high, level off this high, and now we can go into a lower time frame. Now we're here at the monthly. The weekly. Now we're looking to see what kind of trends going on in the weekly. We already have an idea of what to look for on the monthly. We're looking for a potential, if anything, retest here and drop. But if price breaches this level, we know that we have now formed a higher high and we're going up, because we know what we're expecting. You following me?
Right, I'm following you.
Okay, good deal.
That's what I said. So we'll know when like a bearish flag or a bullish flag come.
Exactly. Now we know what we need to look for, and if we're able to in advance be able to see the pattern, that brings more profit to us. So that's where knowing the patterns and the candlestick patterns come in handy. When you break it down to know what to potentially expect, and you can see it form in real time, that's how you take advantage of the profit. Because you're actually able to trade the pattern and even react to patterns when you see them appear on the chart. And once that happens, it's lights out. So we know we're looking for either a retest here. Retest here to the previous candle's high. Or if price turns around anywhere below, it starts coming down, we know we can potentially expect a lower low.
Oh, so okay, so now I'm starting making more sense. So now I understand how you make total profit on either like forex or the binary, because like once you understand those candles, the higher high and the high and the lower low, it's like it points it right into that direction.
Exactly. So now that we know what to potentially be looking for at the monthly, that's when we can just bump it down a level. Now we're at the weekly. Looking at the weekly, we have a high here, lower high, higher low. So we know that the trend would have been like this. And then all of a sudden you see we're starting to we have the lower highs. We have a high. We have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, equal high, lower low. So now we can expect here on the weekly, potentially another high here and a drop. So we know we can cancel out that move. Well, we can presume we can cancel out that move. Of course, we can't foresee the. I mean, I really can, but I can't say that.
Officer, I know you can. You blame that.
Right. So it could still make its way up there. Of course, we won't know for sure until the patterns form. But now we again know what to look for. Another retest potentially here. So we know if we get a reversal pattern right in here on the weekly, then we can cancel that move out. Because in order to get up here, price has to first break here. So now we know what to look for here on the weekly. We know we can clearly see lower lows right here. So we know the current trend is down, just based on the lower lows and lower highs. We know that. So now we can only anticipate another bump here, which is another retest to this resistance level, and then a drop to break this level. And we know if we come back down here, based on the monthly, we know if we come back down here, we're likely coming back all the way over into here. And this is what I see. I see within the next, by the end of the year, Aussie down here at 63 cents.
Ooh.
Okay, where was that? Okay.
Oh no,
now,
good thing or bad thing?
It's good for us with crypto. We're going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have any Aussie dollars, so shoot, it can go to the mud. But yeah, we're in the crypto space, so these potential moves with the Aussie USD, Pound USD, gold, and Euro USD falling to the floor only puts crypto to the sky. So and everything that I've analyzed for the last 6 months points in those directions. It points to this fiat currency going down the drain in the next 6 months.
Ooh,
And then I see Bitcoin's next stop, 120. And that's just because I've analyzed, the big 3 or 4 on a regular basis. But XRP's next move is at least 15 plus. So we already know, and I've been riding that one since about 13 cents. So I've been riding XRP for the long haul. I'm just waiting for this lawsuit to be over. But these cryptos are gonna explode.
Yeah, because they just did a settlement, didn't they?
Right. I believe so. I haven't checked on it in about a week, but as soon as I know there's new updates on it every day. But as soon as I know whenever it's finalized or whatever they got going on is here to say the patterns that I've already analyzed are going to come to fruition. Because I don't see XRP coming down or making a retrace from where it's at now. I think every crypto now has done retracing and they're all about to explode. I don't see no retrace for the rest of the quarter. And crypto fourth quarter is when they blow.
Yeah. It's like third quarter is like, they get themselves in check and inbound. And then that fourth quarter.
And then that fourth quarter, they just take over the game. Especially Bitcoin. Between October and January, Bitcoin's usually through the roof. Or at least on its way headed there. It seems like it's been like that every time it's broken all-time high. The bull run started in October. And that's with all the big threes. All their bull rushes began in October. Every time they've had one. So if you look at the all-time highs of, say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, if you look at the all-time highs were always formed in April or sooner, because the bull run always lasted about 6 to 7 months from starting in October. It would be October, November, December, January, February, March, April, all-time high. May, June, we dwindle back down. But for that 8 months starting in October, the bull run is on for crypto.
I mean, I should get my bag out even more heavier.
Like I see Ethereum 4,500 plus by the end of the month. And that just right out, like literally from where it's at now at 34.15 or wherever it's at right now, it's gonna get $1,100 by the end of the month. So what's that really about 33%? It's gonna do at least about 30%.
Yeah. But I feel like that means Cardano gonna take off with them too then.
ADA? Yeah, ADA's gonna take off too. What's ADA at right now?
I think like $2.99 right now. I want to say two something. I know it's 2 something.
Yeah, and ADA's on its way as well. For sure.
Because it's number 3 right now on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko.
Yep, that shit's gonna go ham. I'm ready for all those altcoins. I'm ready for all those altcoins to do something like AquaGo, Safe Moon, Safe Mars, all that type of shit. Do you think they're gonna do anything?
Most people say that they're looking for it by next year. Like they're looking for Safe Moon to blow by next year.
I'm thinking all these altcoins are really gonna take off after this breakthrough that the top 100 is gonna have.
Exactly, because that's why all the money gonna be made. It's like after the top 3 come in, and then after they gonna have that big explosion. That's when all the real money gonna be made in the altcoin season, real altcoin season.
And that's exactly what I feel like too. I feel like as soon as that happens, everything else is gonna follow suit.
I'm glad this team bought that AquaGoat for $4 though.
Right. and as soon as that shit happens, that's exactly what it's gonna be like, bro. it's gonna be amazing, bro.
Man, you finna start seeing millionaires pop out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, bro. Out of nowhere, I got like 700 billion altcoins, bro, and it's just like let them hit $1.
Dog, man, I wish I would have caught that gravity coin that coin I posted, man. He
Oh
told me
yeah, bro,
that.
that was the gravity coin that went from 20 to invested 20 to 42K.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
45K. So
gravity. Okay, and
you'd have put
gravity
in
still
20,
got room to grow. Look like
huh?
I said, and it looked like it still had room to go.
Oh yeah, it went up to 113. I think it's still going up. They burning tokens like crazy though. So like thing is it's gonna go up if you burning tokens because it's gonna be rarity.
Right. So they doing the burn tokens to run their shit up. Cause some of these
Yep.
altcoins, they that's a little trick they got up their sleeve. They'll put a big supply on them and then start burning. But they also lose the trust of the communities at the same time. So
Right.
sometimes that's not the best move for them to be doing.
Cause my boy Mario, man, he be all over those the little coin they call shit coins, man. He be like, bro, check this out, check this out. I'm like, man, I'm checking this out, I'm checking charts, I'm checking this and checking that. But he goes in though. He be on them Telegram groups.
Yeah, that crypto is something serious.
Like I said, like we still got our free airdrop group for all your participants in on your currency matrix too.
Say that one more time.
We still got the Bankers Club got a free airdrop group, so anybody in the currency matrix so they can hop in and get all these free airdrops and stuff.
Okay, sweet. Whenever you want, you can just if you drop the link and make a post inside the Matrix community. You can introduce yourself in that type of situation and put an invite out there for people to get involved with rapping crypto. Yeah, just on the where you on the main wall in there inside the Matrix. You can create a post and just introduce yourself and put it out there for them.
Yeah, cause like tonight, like I told, we have our Protect Your Bank call, which basically talks about building family trust, like your family trust, taking everything out your name and putting inside your trust and stuff. So like we do little calls like that, trying to protect people out here while they building their assets and stuff.
Right, smooth. So yeah, whenever I don't mind you posting that inside the Matrix just as you would on Facebook.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like we want, like I said, we trying to get the information out there just so people can be protected well around it. I know people are protected with cold storages, but hey, banks still people can get repo and stuff like that. So,
how do they cold storage?
No. What's called Treasure? The Nano Treasure got hacked before.
Oh wow! Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and then also, do you know how to protect your MetaMask too?
Okay, I haven't used MetaMask much. I'm still using Trust Wallet. But you said Trust Wallet got hacked.
No, Nano Treasure, the cold storage.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the only cold. I guess the only cold storage wallet I've been using. And is Trust Wallet even a cold storage?
No, it's a private hot storage.
Okay.
It's a DeFi hot storage.
Got you.
Have you got
cold storage would be a jump drive type situation.
Right. Have you got the Currency Matrix domain name? Decent DeFi domain name?
I know when you sent me that link a while ago, I signed up and I did it. I haven't went since I did. What was that website? Crypto domain?
Unstoppable domain.
Okay, yeah, unstoppable domain. Yeah, I got an unstoppable domain, and I did do the currency matrix. Let me see if I can get into it. I haven't. Let's see.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure I don't want nobody, steal your name out there.
Right. Let me make sure I can get into it actually, because
Stop. Come
It
here.
would have been a while since I did it.
Stop. Stop, Jackson. You're not getting the phone back.
Okay, no, it's not right.
Come on
All right,
now.
let me try another login real quick. It might be on this one.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you got your stuff taken care of because I know my boy Jared Arms, the guy who was on the show before. He does all those domains and stuff, and he also got the .c domains that's gonna be on the Nasdaq.
Let's see if this is
Also, I gotta show you that too. The gateway.io with .c's.
Gateway. It's called Gate.io.
No, the .c's, which is the other new crypto domains that's gonna replace .coms is on gateway.io. But the unstoppable domain, the decentralized one, is the one I sent you with the referral link. So you get $10 off your domain name.
Okay, smooth. Smooth. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see real quick. I think I'm in there now. Yeah, okay. Mine is the currencymatrix.crypto.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you got your Ethereum based domain name.
Okay, yeah, I did it about I think it was about almost a year ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
When was it you first sent me that link?
I think it was a year ago.
Yeah, I think I did it, and I'm glad you said something because I just did it. I signed up, did it, and bought it, and then I hadn't used it any. I know I connected my
Trust wallet to it.
yeah, I connected my trust in I think it was Coinbase
Cool.
actually. Or it just had
Okay.
me any I think it was just any address that it had me and at the time I think it was um trust Coinbase, the address that I linked to it. Let me see.
Okay, cool. Like I said, I just want you to make sure you have your intellectual property,
Most definitely.
especially in this space, boy.
Right. You know, with this digital shit
it's
going
a
on.
it's a war
All I
out
have, I
here.
just have my a Bitcoin address linked to it. That's it.
If we weren't recording, I would after we get done recording, I'll tell you some stuff that I got going on for real.
Okay, so yeah, I still got that good deal. And then I see I can transfer and sell it. Okay, good. Make sure I save this login here. I was also gonna buy another one. It looks like I started, but I didn't finish. The Urban Genius LLC.crypto. Yeah, it looked like I started another one. But okay, anyway. But is that what it is? Huh? Duo. Oh, I'm trying to find this Zoom that I just did
Uh,
so I can upload
my
it.
bad. I mean take it off topic.
Oh shit, you're good. I just lost. I had lost my train of thought. You're good.
Like I said,
Yeah,
man,
you're
it's
good.
like
I lost my train of
like you
thought.
with charts, man. Me with crypto, man. We can go all day.
I had forgot. I have another one set. Another one-on-one at 5, and my alarm was
Oh,
going off. I was uploading the video to YouTube. I was talking to you about crypto, and then I was also gonna finish this Aussie USD breakdown. So
okay, cool.
going back to this Aussie USD breakdown that we were working on. Here at the weekly, now we see we have the lower highs and lower lows. So we already know the weekly's still in a downtrend. Again, in order to get to this level up here, price would have to break through this 734 level, this 731 level. So we know this is the previous high, this is the new lower low, or previous lower high, this is the previous lower low. So now, since we know what levels have to be breached on the weekly, we can now go down another time frame, which would then ultimately take us to the daily. Now, like I was saying earlier, the reason I was able to identify that and pinpoint that lowest point that we previously spoke about on that euro pound was because the candlestick in the particular retested the previous high or the previous low of that day. So now we're here on the daily, and we can sit here and look at how here is yesterday's high right there. So we can see right now we have breached yesterday's high already right now on this Aussie USD. So now we know where we can go in now. Again, like I mentioned, anywhere at the 1 hour and below are trigger zones. Remember, trigger zones are your 1 hour, 30 minute, and 15, where you're actually going to pull the trigger and enter the market. If we look at where we're at now, based on coming all the way down off our top-down analysis into our trigger zone, which is the hour, like I said, the hour time frame or below, we're down at the hour, and we're looking at trigger zones. We are in a prime position to pull the trigger to come down like this, which would essentially create this move on the daily or this move on the weekly, which would ultimately produce the lower high needed to continue this downtrend. So ultimately, right now would likely be the best entry to sell Aussie for the next month, like literally in the next session. I would say by London time, if you by the London time, by tomorrow boot camp, we're going to be selling Aussie USD. So of course we don't have to get in now because we already know which direction the market's heading. So when you really understand and you're able to pinpoint and know which way the market's likely headed in advance, you don't necessarily have to rush, sit on the edge of your seat, this, that, and the other. You know the next move will likely come in mid New York session because Aussie USD is a US-based pair or a US dominated pair, and we know the New York session doesn't start till 9. So we know that's when the most transactions are going to be coming in on the Aussie USD at 9, which is going to be tomorrow morning. So rather than trying to enter now, although it is in the entry zone, depending on what kind of trader you are, some people would enter there and don't mind their profit fluctuating back and forth, just swinging it. Some people want to intraday. If you're looking at intraday, you'll likely want to wait until New York session to even take this trade. Because by New York session, the market, you might lose some pips. It might dwindle down here and here, but by New York session, it'll be doing this. So you can enter now and have to sit through this, or you can wait until, because of it being a US dominated pair, by the time 9 a.m. comes around, the transactions are going to pick up. So it depends on at that point, once you've done your analysis properly all the way down from the highest time frame down, you then know what to expect. And then that comes the real-time fundamental data, which is what sessions what has the most volume, what sessions in play, and that sort of thing. Ultimately, you really want to know what's going on long-term by the time you get down in here in real time. That makes sense?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, you just brought this to another whole new light with this whole session thing. Now I'm like, okay, so now I understand why the sessions are played so much in play and in importance.
Right. So if you just look in here on this particular Aussie USD chart, if you look at the candlesticks, the first 8 hours of the day is the Tokyo session, Asian session. I'm sure you've heard that. The first 8 hours.
Right.
So you box out the first 8 hours of the day, high to low. That would be your initial range. Okay. By the time London starts, which London would start I'm gonna get real accurate. Let me pull out the. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 candles into the day would be here. All right, this is the Asian range. Once London session starts, in order to break out of this range, London session tested the high. While it's testing the high, keeping in mind about the previous day's high, which is way up here. But if you look back now the highs and lows of the days are the strongest support and resistance points on the chart. Okay, so looking back a day, here's this high, here's this low. I'm gonna drag this low all the way across. Now, here's the Asian range, first 8 hours. London session went to the high of the Asian range, but was held down by the previous day's support or resistance. You know, once an area of support is broken, it becomes resistance. So it was support here, resistance, it became here. Now it dwindled down, retrace came up outside the Asian box. London session started, but if you look at that peak that was made, it was just a wick, which means price didn't hold. So price didn't hold above the Asian range. And then what did it do? Go to the other side. All London session and New York. Then over here, we got the first 8 hours right around in here. And then we got London session came back midway in the Asian range, spiked up. New York came and then dwindled out. Then we got the Asian range over here, first 8 hours, broke, didn't hold, New York, here. Now we have the new Asian range, which will likely dwindle here. By the time New York and London, that'll be the fall we're looking for. All that makes sense?
Yes, all that makes sense.
Smooth.
I'm just muted out because little man was over here screaming.
Okay, no worries, no worries. I was just verifying with you, make sure all that clicked. So, with all that said, do you have any questions about anything? Or does that give you a little more confidence on actually being able to actually get in there and look at the charts? Even on your demo, of course, practice all of this on your demo, of course, first, and watch how much more wins you even have. Even on the demo, watch how more consistent you're able to confidently take a position without worrying, oh, is my stop loss going to get hit? You'll be able to take more positions and be able to increase your patience.
Cause like I said, like once you went over that low and the high and then related back to the sessions, I was like, okay, now it started to click more. I'm like, cause like it was like reading, you know how people say like reading German and you American. I'm like, wait.
Right. I definitely understand what you mean, bro. Definitely.
It's like some days when I would crack open a white page on a crypto, I'm like, man, golly.
So yeah, now that should bring a lot more light to your market moves and your market anticipation. You're gonna be able to tap into the boot camp. We're gonna start it at I'm gonna start at 8 a.m. Eastern. Of course, every day still gonna be recorded. So even if you have to miss some time, it'll be recorded as well.
I won't be in there until Wednesday because I have to work from Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, that's smooth.
Also I gotta get you to send me the invite to the Mighty Network so I can get in because I have not created my profile in the Mighty Networks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me go ahead and send you that now. Before we
because I was talking to LJ, he was like, "Yo, bro, we been did that." I was like, "Bro."
Yeah, let me go. I'll go ahead and send that over to you now. Let me see.
I've been trying to help him get his studies and stuff together because like he's supposed to be the main trader for us in the Bankers Club and stuff. And I'm like, because like I told him like I do all the studying for the crypto because I have more further knowledge than he does because I brought him along into the crypto space.
Right. All right, let me know if you see that link. Go ahead and click on that link, and before we end the call, go ahead and create this, get your profile activated and all that.